A Homeowners Association, HOA, refused to let a Vietnam veteran fly the American flag in his yard and even took the man to court to force him to take down his flagpole. An ongoing dispute ensued, and after a 20-year battle, the HOA finally learned they had made a big mistake. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. During the Vietnam War, Richard Olton served his country in the 1st Battalion, 9th Marines, which sustained the highest casualty rate in Marine Corps history and became known as the Walking Dead. Wanting to honor those who served with him, Richard erected a flagpole in his yard to fly the American flag at his home in Henrico, Virginia. This flag was not just a piece of fabric to Richard, it was a symbol of the sacrifices made by his fellow soldiers, a tribute to the bravery and camaraderie shared among them. For 749 Marines that I served with, for their memory, Richard said, explaining his tribute to the brothers he lost in combat. The memories are always there. Unfortunately, they're deep inside me and I can't clear them out, Richard added. Each time he saw the flag waving, it brought back memories of the brothers he lost and the battles they fought together. It was a way for him to keep their memory alive and honor their ultimate sacrifice. But sadly, the Windham Homeowners Association didn't understand or agree with the man flying the flag that he and his comrades had fought for. To them, it was a simple matter of bylaws and regulations. In 1999, the HOA told Richard that his flagpole, displaying the American flag, violated the neighborhood bylaws and ordered him to remove it. Allegedly, neighbors had complained that it was a disturbance to their community. The reasons given were varied and often seemed trivial. Some said it was a visual distraction, while others claimed it disrupted the aesthetic uniformity of the neighborhood. Enraged, Richard refused, and the case went to court, garnering national attention as Richard Olton was ordered to take down the flagpole in his yard. For many Americans, this case was a matter of principle and respect for a veteran's right to honor his comrades. Sadly, he had lost the battle, but little did the HOA realize the war wasn't over. After losing in court, Richard stood in his front yard as the flagpole was cut down in 2003. "I'm standing in my front yard being told my American flag is a visual nuisance and I can't fly it in support of the troops," he said on the day the pole was removed. "I think it's horrible, but I have to comply." Watching the flagpole being taken down was a heart-wrenching experience for Richard. It felt like a betrayal, not just of him, but of all the soldiers who had fought and died for the country. But for this veteran, flying the stars and stripes was about more than patriotism, and he wasn't giving up. Proving a Marine isn't one to just surrender. Richard refused to be defeated. Instead, 20 years after his first fight with the HOA, he engaged them in battle again. Side by side with Virginia delegate John McGuire, District 56, who happens to be a former Navy SEAL, Richard took on the Windham Homeowners Association one last time, finally teaching them that taking on a veteran is a big mistake. The determination in Richard's eyes was clear. He was not just fighting for himself, but for the honor of all veterans. "The one thing that unites us in this country is that American flag," said Del McGuire. "And when I heard about that, I was like, we got to get that American flag up," he added. "Our men and women in uniform oftentimes risk their life or even sacrifice their life for freedom, and I think the least we can do is get a flagpole up so he can remember his brothers." McGuire's support was instrumental in giving Richard the strength and resources he needed to continue his fight. Together, they rallied support from other veterans, local politicians, and the community. The two veterans spent the better part of a year working to convince the HOA to allow Richard Olton to resurrect his flagpole. They organized meetings, gathered petitions, and even held public demonstrations to raise awareness about the issue. Since the HOA was now in the hands of the homeowners rather than under the control of the developer, as it had been in 1999, Richard was told to poll his neighbors. The 9 adjacent houses gave 100% support. This overwhelming support from his neighbors was a testament to the changing attitudes and growing respect for Richard's cause. After 2 appeals, the HOA was finally convinced to let Old Glory fly on Richard Olton's property, a right he should have never been denied. The decision was met with applause and cheers from the community. Richard could finally fly the flag he risked his life fighting for. "This is something I just didn't ever think was going to happen, but I kept trying," Richard said. His perseverance and unwavering determination had finally paid off. He was finally victorious, 2 decades after the initial dispute began. Although Richard's flagpole is new, The flag taking the first trip up the new pole isn't. Instead, Richard will hoist the flag that hung in his military bunker while he served in Vietnam during a special ceremony, a perfect tribute to the comrades he fought a 20-year battle to honor. "It's one memory I've kept," an emotional Richard Olton said, holding the flag in his hands. "It's very important to me. It's kind of tattered now, but a lot of memories." The ceremony was a moving event, attended by fellow veterans, community members, and local officials, all there to honor Richard and his fallen brothers. While it's understandable that neighbors would want their community to look nice, the American flag properly displayed on a flagpole in someone's yard should never be an aesthetic concern. Old Glory waving in the wind as a tribute to our fallen from a fellow veteran is an admirable and beautiful sight. From the beginning, this should have been an easy yes from the HOA. Bureaucracy has sadly replaced basic respect, but luckily our veterans aren't easily defeated, as this HOA learned the hard way. Richard's story is a reminder of the resilience and determination of our veterans, who continue to fight for the values and freedoms they hold dear, even in the face of adversity. This incident also sparked a larger conversation about the rights of homeowners and the role of HOAs in regulating neighborhood aesthetics. Many argued that such associations should be more flexible and considerate, especially when it comes to matters of patriotism and honoring those who have served the country. The case of Richard Olton became a symbol of resistance against overreach by homeowners associations, inspiring others to stand up for their rights and the rights of veterans. In the end, Richard Olton's victory was not just a personal triumph, but a victory for veterans and patriotic citizens everywhere. It showed that persistence, coupled with the support of a united community, could overcome even the most rigid bureaucratic obstacles. Richard's flagpole now stands tall as a testament to his unwavering spirit and the enduring legacy of the 1st Battalion 9th Marines, the Walking Dead. Their sacrifices will not be forgotten, and their memory will continue to be honored every time the flag waves proudly in the Virginia breeze.